Shake, shake, shake. Hey everyone, it is Sam here. I am coming to you with some Gut Health 101. I am a certified personal trainer. I am a certified nutrition coach. I'm also a coach of the Fast Way to Fat Loss, and I bring to you lots of healthy recipes and simple workouts at bitesofwellness.com. But today we are going to chat about how to decrease the size of your waistline, aka all that bloating you got going on, by eating more foods, of course, the right kinds of foods. Now, most of us have heard the term the SAD diet, the standard American diet. And unfortunately, it is packed full of white processed sugar, white processed flour, very, very fried, fatty, nasty, delicious, very good for you. No, it's not good for you. You want it to be good for you, but it's not. All that kind of food. Our kids, if you go through a lunch line, most of the food that they are eating is not very colorful, nutritious, or it's probably delicious, but it's not providing them a lot of nutrients. But when you go through your parents' line, the same thing. Most of us are eating things that really aren't helping the gut bacteria. Now you might say, I don't really care about my gut bacteria, until I ask you a simple question. It's almost that time of year where everybody in the office gets sick. How many times are you going to be sick this year? Seriously, think about it. How many times do you get sick every year? You're like, oh, I have a bunch of kids, I have a bunch of stuff. Yeah, but you know what? 70 to 80% of your immune system starts in your gut. So if you have an unhealthy gut because you are eating the SAD, standard American diet, you can start working now to improve your gut bacteria so that when you start getting all those viruses and everything kind of coming at you, your immune system is up to par. Now you might be thinking, I'm just going to stop this video right now, I take a probiotic every day. Yeah, keep watching. So unfortunately, what we have learned is that although a daily probiotic is a great thing to use, especially let's say if you just took antibiotics, or if you just got a really bad strain of something and you need to kind of really douse your immune system with some good bacteria. But what you don't get told is that most probiotics only use 3 strands of bacteria. And it might say like 1,000 live cell or million live cells, 10 million live cells. It's still only 3 strands. We have, I think, 100 trillion different kinds of bacteria in our gut, and you're gonna take a pill every day that promotes only 3 things so that those 3 guys can take over. Probably not the best idea, right? We wanna have diversity in our gut. We want it to be more of the good guys, but we want those good guys to be diverse, just like you want your workforce to be diverse. You don't want everybody to be Stanley. You want a Martha and a Joe and all the people that you need. So what we're going to talk about today is how you can diversify your gut bacteria with food, which is super easy and it's simple. And the great part is that with these, everything that I'm showing you today, you don't need a lot every day. So I'm going to start with some of the things that you might already have in your pantry, or at least you see at your local grocery store every day, and then we're going to go a little bit crazy too. So first of all, most grocery stores now carry at least some kombucha. You'll usually see it in the refrigerated section, either by produce or sometimes it's just in like the front. So we're going to talk about that. I know that's at every grocery store, and every grocery store seems to have yogurts of some sort as well. I know this is at every grocery store, apple cider vinegar, some of the faves, and most stores also carry sauerkraut. So we'll start with those first. So when we are looking for sauerkraut, the reason why this is such a great thing to have is because, again, you only need a couple tablespoons. And the way that they make sauerkraut, if you've ever read a fermenting book or anything like that, is essentially they pack a bunch of cabbage in a jar and then they let it sit out in the air for a couple of days until it gets that tangy flavor. And the tanginess is from the fermentation process. And the reason why you want to keep it refrigerated is because it starts growing essentially bacteria, and that's what gets the flavor going. And once you want to stop kind of that growth of the bacteria, you put it in the refrigerator. But that doesn't kill the good bacteria. What it does is it keeps it from going any further. So you want to get the sauerkraut that has to be refrigerated, and that way the bacteria is still alive and it's still going to do wonders for your gut. And instead of thinking like a probiotic pill, which is just 3 strands, this is anything that was in the air, and it's the good bacteria. So you're going to get a much bigger diversity by including sauerkraut maybe in 1 meal a day, every other day, something like that. It doesn't have to be every single day. I really love, so this is the Trader Joe's sauerkraut. I almost picked up the same brand as this, the Farmhouse Culture, in the exact same sauerkraut, but I knew I had this at home. The reason I like this is because it tastes like dill pickles. So it's really easy to get used to the flavor because it tastes like dill pickles, and everybody knows what that tastes like. You can eventually get kind of crazy with some of the flavors, but if you start out with a familiar flavor, and again, you're not adding a ton, you can eat it right out of the jar, or you can put it on like eggs or a salad or whatever you want. But sauerkraut, great option, easy. If you can't handle sauerkraut, you could also get refrigerated pickles as well and get kind of the same benefits as that. You don't want to get the stuff that sits in the jar in the middle of the grocery store though, because that has had to go through a process so that it can be jarred and canned for a long period of time. So that process kills off that good bacteria. So it starts the same, but then they have to put it in under high heat. So don't get the stuff that's sitting in the aisle. Get the stuff in the refrigerated section. It's a little bit more expensive, but you're focusing on your gut and you're not eating a ton of it, okay? So the second thing we're going to talk about is either, I want to read this. This is a drinkable yogurt alternative, and it's got kefir. So kefir cultures are another great way to add another kind of diversity into, instead of just having probiotics. So if you get a yogurt, it's going to be cultured, and most of the time the way that they culture this is with the same probiotic strands that you will get from going to and getting just a pill or probiotic pill. So yogurt is a great option, but kefir is another way to just kind of, it's still yogurt-ish, okay? And I got non-dairy. This is a plain, because I'm going to try my hardest to keep added sugars out when I'm focusing on trying to keep inflammation down and healing my gut, okay? So this is a drinkable kefir culture. So if you want to get something like this, this is by Forager brand, just at Whole Foods. But again, if you can tolerate dairy, some people can, some people can't. You can get a kefir that way too. Check the sugars, of course. And then, of course, you could always do yogurt, especially if you're not doing a daily probiotic. That would be fine. The last thing I want to talk about is there's 2 different things here. There's Kombucha. So this is Dave's favorite brand, the Live brand. The root beer one, if you want to try to get your kids to drink some kombucha, the root beer one's really good. And this is a Dr. one. Dave, does it taste like Dr. Pepper? It tastes like Dr. Pepper. So if you have a coffee or a soda addiction, this is a great way to kind of start cutting on that. So the kombucha is not a probiotic, but it is really good bacteria. So again, we're going to talk about inoculating our gut with good bacteria, and that's a great way to do it. I also have here, we talked about kefir here. This is a sparkling probiotic drink. So this isn't exactly kombucha, but again, it's fermented, so that's the same process that the sauerkraut goes through. And the reason I really like this particular one, it's a little bit spicy, so you can't chug it, but there's only 1 gram of sugar in this, so it's definitely great if you are having a low carb day or you're just trying to keep your added sugars at a minimum. That is a great one to go to if you are looking into that. Now, some of you have already heard of the next thing that I'm going to talk about, and that is apple cider vinegar. So the mother in this is, again, another great source of just getting some fermentation into your system. But you have to really be careful with apple cider vinegar because it is so acidic. Some people don't do well on apple cider vinegar, and some people it's really bad for your esophagus and your teeth and all that stuff. They do have the Live brand in some places. They have a sparkling vinegar, which is really good. Will get you the same benefits without it being so intense on your teeth and in your esophagus. But you could easily add this to water. You can make like a apple cider vinegar like lemonade. So some lemon, some water, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, maybe a crushed up strawberry or two. Let it sit, drink on it all day long, sip on it. It doesn't have to be all at one time as a shot. You can kind of really dilute it down and get the same benefits. So those are the things that I wanted to touch on that you could get anywhere. If you are really trying to get your gut going though, let's say you did get really sick, you had to take some antibiotics, I'm gonna recommend that you walk into your local Whole Foods or Whole Foods like store and grab some gut shots. So this is a gut shot. Essentially you take it just like a shot of alcohol. It's probiotics, but it's really, really, really condensed. So it's just like drinking kind of the juice of the sauerkraut. This is cabbage, but it's got some beet in it, which is good for your digestion. It's also got some ginger, which is great for your digestion. But this is a really good, you could take 2 or 3 shots of this a day for like the 2 or 3 days after you got off antibiotics, and that would really help inoculate your gut with lots and lots of good bacteria instead of just 2 or 3 strands. If you're like, there's no way I'm eating that, but you like sriracha, I don't know if you guys can see this, the Wild Brine, they just came out with a probiotic rich sriracha sauce. So if you're used to putting sriracha on like your eggs and stuff, a little bit more expensive, but again, you don't need a lot to get the benefits, and you don't need to use it every single day. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about, and this is going a little bit away from using the actual fermentation process to help heal your gut. This is to help seal your gut. So a lot of us have issues where not only is the bacteria in our gut overgrowing and it's the bad stuff, but also we are eating foods that aren't necessarily best for us. So it causes us to be bloated, maybe some gas, something like that, really not feeling great after you eat food. If you do that long enough, you may have what they call a leaky gut, or just your gut doesn't have as tight of a juncture all the way through as it should. So sometimes random like proteins and things can kind of slip out of your digestive tract into your blood, and that's what they think can cause some things like autoimmune diseases and things like that. But it all starts slowly, and one of the ways that we can kind of help reseal your gut is to use collagen or gelatin. So if you're thinking, oh, I eat Jello every day, I'm cool. No. Okay, that's not, the stuff that they use in Jello has been way too over processed. You can, however, make your own Jello, and all of you moms out there, I want you to perk up your ears. You can make your kids their own gummy bears and things like that. So you could definitely make it so that your kids have a much healthier gut this year going into the school year, you know, middle of the school year, whatever it is. They can get some homemade gelatin into little, like whatever little molds you want to buy. You can just put it in like a glass sheet and cut it up like little Jello jigglers, whatever you're going to do. But my favorite thing to do is to get some unsweetened, so no added sugar juice, and just combine it with gelatin. You want to make sure it's grass-fed, unflavored, and you just mix it up. The directions are on the back, how to do it. Super simple. Lots of really good Pinterest out there too. But you can make your kids their own gelatin. You could do it for yourself. So the gelatin gets hard in cold application. So if you're making something that is cold and you try to add gelatin, it's not going to stir in. So just a heads up for that. That is what the collagen peptides are for. So collagen peptides are essentially the gelatin, which both of these are a great source of calcium and magnesium. So if you're deficient in either of those things, great source of that. This is also, collagen is what makes your skin elastic, which makes your hair nice and good, your nails nice and strong, things like that. It also helps make the junctures in your gut much better. So it's gonna help reduce the inflammation, reduce the bloating, reduce your swelling, all the things. And you guys, this is so easy. So if you're already like kind of short on protein every day, you just take a scoop of this. It's easy, easy, easy. Just measure it out. You can put it in your hot coffee. You can put it in your hot tea. You can mix it in your smoothies. You can mix it in your yogurt. If you want to do like a yogurt extra, you know, kind of beef it up a little bit. Add the collagen. It's completely unflavored. It's super simple to use. But that's an everyday thing that I would easily add to your routine right now. If you've been having any kind of gut issues, start with the gelatin, see how you feel, or the collagen, add the gelatin in, make your own gummies, things like that. And then you can start adding in these things, finding brands that you like. And again, a kombucha or 2 a week will get you in a good place. It's a little bit of sauerkraut every other day, great place. A little bit of apple cider vinegar in a big pitcher of water, go out of time, okay? So, questions? No questions, maybe.
Is there a vegan option? Assuming grass-fed would mean animal.
So, yes, these are definitely animal-based. There is not a vegan option for these, unfortunately. However, you could get the same benefits. So, I believe this is vegan. I believe the coconut milk. They do try to do, whoever that is, I will send a vegan probiotic that I know about to you so that you could look into that. But I know the apple cider vinegar is good. And you can also just kind of Google into fermenting yourself and start looking into other ways to start helping your gut heal. That help? Yeah, cool. Anything else? No? All right, y'all. Well, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to write a blog post soon kind of highlighting all this stuff, going a little bit more in depth. But I wanted to show you the products that we have in our house all the time, what's really helped me reduce my inflammation. We've talked through things like this in the Faster Way to Fat Loss. So if you're a little bit overwhelmed, or if you've been thinking like, oh my gosh, I've had this bloating for so long, I don't know where to start, join me, Faster Way to Fat Loss. If we don't have one coming up soon, which we do right now, we will again. So whenever you're watching this, know that you can always contact me and we'll get you right on track with the Faster Way to Fat Loss. If you have questions when you watch this again later, please leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. If you found this helpful, please, I would love if you would share this with anybody that you think would get some sort of knowledge out of this as well. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching.